So we are representative of both boards. So myself, I'm part of the technical board.
Yeah, my name is Jerin. I am also part of technical board.
My name is Prasoon Kapoor, and I represent Marvell in the governing board.
My name is Wang Yong. I'm from ZTE Corporation. I'm a member of the governing board.
So I guess we have to explain a bit more what this board are doing, and then probably we'll have questions. So technical board, we are 11 members, and we have regular meetings every 2 weeks. It happens on Wednesday so it's a audio call meeting, a Zoom meeting. And which is special in this meeting is that everybody is invited. You can join. Join, please. Because we are just discussing technical stuff. We are discussing what happens currently in the community, etc. Why this board was created initially, it was in order to resolve any what we call dispute on the main list. It's not really dispute, but when we cannot reach a conclusion, when you know this community is based on consensus. If everybody is okay or nobody disagrees, it's accepted. But sometimes there are people who have different opinions, and we cannot reach the consensus. So in this case, we were in the need of a solution of how a process, how to solve issues, and this is where we created the technical board. So that's simple. We are 11 members, and when there is something to decide, we vote. And if we have if something has a majority, then it's accepted. That's all. But before voted, we discuss. And sometimes before discussing, we have a presentation. If you want to explain your issue, then you come. You can even present some slides if you wish, or just explain what is your problem. And then we decide. But there is a process for that, because we cannot just listen a few minutes and decide. In general, it's not possible. We need to think in advance about the topic. So we require people, before raising an issue, you will require that you send an email to techboard@dpdk.org, explain your thing, and ask for your issue to be discussed in the next technical board meeting. Okay, so you need to send this email in advance. If we don't have time, it happens sometimes, then we postpone the issue to the next meeting in 2 weeks. Jerin.
No, that's pretty much winning. Yeah.
Tell how long is the meeting? Is it how do you feel it?
It's 1 hour, right? It's 1 hour, 1 hour, and so.
The chair. Who is the chair?
Yeah, so it's like it's a weekly rotating basis. Like, so we have 11 people. We are weekly. Meaning, whenever we have a meeting, it's one guy is doing that next week, and come to another guy. And also it's very methodical in the sense like, so the guy who conducts the meeting scan through the mailing list and see if there are other. He'll pull out the agendas, and there is a notepad kind of a web interface where we write the agenda so that other people can see it. Also ask other people, like, do you have any other thing to contribute? So it's a fully agenda driven, fully planned activities. And nowadays, like, a lot of other people also join other than tech board members, some from Microsoft and other companies. So yeah.
Reporting at
the end. Yeah. So after that done, like, we send minutes of the meeting for an internal review. Once the minutes of the meeting is approved, internally sent to the mailing list, and it's get captured into that website, meaning in the mailing list. And at any point of time, anyone can go there and see what are the decisions we made. And sometimes those decisions will be made as a process and updated in DPDK documentation also, if it calls for that. So, right.
So on the governing board side, I think it functions to define a broad direction for the project. I think we've had a lot of discussions about new technology areas to focus on and give direction to the technical board, and a lot of administrative aspects of the project, which include like marketing, outreach activities, budgeting, and planning for events like these, and so on and so forth. So I think they are very productive meetings. We meet once every month, and there's a permanent chair of the governing board, and he, along with Linux Foundation representatives, conduct the meetings, which are done quite well, and we have representatives from the technical board also participating in the governing board meetings.
Just as Prasan said, the governing board now has 12 members. Yeah, among these 10 representatives of the golden members, and one is the silver member representative, and another one is the tech board representative. We hold the reference to governing board reference every 6 weeks, yeah, and every 3 months there's a joint meeting of governing board and tech board. Yeah. We always discuss the financial plan, the marketing, and we vote for the important things, just like DVDK summit and the UNH lab. We have bought several new servers for the lab this year.
How to join the governing board?
Just we welcome every corporation to join the governing board. How to join is to be a gold member or a silver member. A gold member is needs maybe $50,000 per year, and silver member is maybe it's 10. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So for the streaming, Nathan is saying that Robin Geer from Intel is the treasurer of the governing board. So the critical role of the governing board is to manage the money of the project. That's why if you are a paying member, you are part of the governing board automatically, because you have to make decision to manage this money. And this is this money which is paying this summit, for instance. So thank you to all companies for that. Thank you. Maybe you have questions? Something which is not clear, something you would like to add, something you would like to change. That's time. If you think something should be for a better process or something, do you have any opinion? Don't be shy. If you think nothing is working well, you can say. No? Nothing? Everything is good? Okay. You want more summits? Less summit? More summit. Okay. Yeah, Nathan. Take a mic. Yeah. So yeah, Nathan is mentioning that as part of as part of the project required by the governing board, there is this security focus that we really want to. So we are an open source community, so we cannot mandate anything. Okay, it's all based on voluntary and consensus, etc. But we can maybe highlight some gaps that we want to fill. And this security thing that's something that we want to improve. We want to support more security protocols. We want to better communicate about the support that DPDK already have, etc. And the first step in this direction is to work on documentation about what is supported and what's not. And the governing board is funding Nandini Persad, our technical writer, to review our documentation and to write some new document. This security document is one of her tasks. And as he said, that's a fantastic job. Anything else?
We can say roadmap also. Also, we have a website link URL where every company is beginning of every release post the roadmap, so that people can see what's the direction of DPDK and who's going to contribute on what, so that there is no conflict on both guys are doing the same thing, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing to mention and to discuss, maybe that I haven't discussed at this summit, is UNH labs, NIC testing, doing quite a bit of great work there. I don't know if anyone wants to get to that.
Yeah, so one good part about recent contributions on DTS, right? So earlier DTS was an external repo managed by Intel. Now the DTS is part of DPDK now. So the test framework is part of DPDK now. Whoever is adding a feature, they can also add a test case along with that. And the UNH lab is doing a great job on doing a CA testing using public credits and their own CA machines, and so we can get the performance report for each patches. So it's we're getting really good. CSET. So it's per packet size. Per packet size, right? That's CSET, right? Yeah, I think VPP has a framework where they capture the performance for per packet size and burst size and different attributes, right? So yeah, we have a dashboard, but it's not so much of attributes like per packet size, burst, and other thing, but it's like number of packet per seconds, and basic attributes are showing up in dashboards. So per check-in you can see actually. Yeah, right, so that's good.
So the question is around CI in general. We want to have better CI for performance, especially for performance. Okay. So building a CI is something very complex and time-consuming. We started this journey maybe 5 years ago. It takes time. So for now, we have what is working the best is CI for few basic checks for each patch we receive. Okay, this is done, but there is some performance testing, but that's very basic. Next step now is while working on DTS, on the refactoring of DTS, we are also adding new tests. First, there are functional testing, and first this is focused on networking testing. Then later we will see crypto and more. And when we have that, we can compare. We will be able to compare different implementation, check if they all have the same behavior, if there is no gaps, etc. So that's one step, and we could have a kind of dashboard as you are asking for. And then there is another step which is very important for DPDK, which is performance. So we want to be able to measure performance in different conditions and compare, etc. There is one tricky thing here, is that when we talk about performance, each vendor want to make sure we are not publishing some wrong numbers. And even sometimes some don't want to publish any number at all. So we have to respect this this freedom. So we are not yet sure exactly how we want to implement this kind of performance CI, but what is sure is that we are going in this direction, and at least we want to check that there is no performance regression. That's one thing which is easy to do. Publishing numbers, that's something else. For now, performance numbers are published voluntarily in a PDF format, and it's published on the website. You have another question, Chair.
I think one thing we can do is in UNH, right? So if AMD can contribute to the server, right? So that's what Intel is doing. So they're contributing the server, setting up the right parameters, and they run the test cases on that and get the performance. So, and even other silicon vendors like Marvell is contributing to giving cards, even servers also. So yeah, so that's how we can contribute the server, they will run it on and get the number. Another aspect to see is like the patchwork, right? So there's one good part we added is like it's a distributed patch system, in the sense like whenever somebody sends a patch, right, it send an email to so anybody can register to a CA in patchwork. So it does not need to be a UNH. Like companies or people who can register to the patchwork bot. So what happens is a patch is sent, an email notification will be sent to the registered thing, and that can trigger a set of test cases, and the result can go as an email to this thing as a success or failure with a log, right? So anyone can register to this thing and get the emails, and they can respond back. So that way, like, it's not specific to UNH, anyone can do it. I think that's another part is really working well now.
This is designed as a distributed CI, and because this is distributed, we have to adopt a common formatting. The only format which is really common is text-based, so we send report in text. And for this distributed CI, we cannot really do more than sending some text with some links. If you want to provide a link to a website with more details, etc., that's possible. But if we want to implement some kind of dashboard, that's more difficult as a distributed CI. So probably the dashboard task will have to be hosted in UNH, which is our funded lab. Yes, Vipin. We have PDF reports. Yes.
Between 22.11 and 22.11, sometimes new test cases get added. All the test case parameters get something modified. What is the impact? What is the difference that we get by adding? That is not easy. That is why we are requesting
So, yeah.
dashboard rather than PDF.
Yeah, so Vipin is saying that in PDF reports, it's free form. You can put any test case you want. You can add some tests. You can add some options. It can change from one release to another, from one report to another. So it's difficult to compare. If we have a dashboard, it's obviously it's more rigorous and easier to compare. I agree. But as I said earlier, when we come to performance numbers, that's very sensitive. So for this year there will be nothing for sure, but next year we may plan to implement a dashboard. That's possible. It will be discussed, and probably if we have a performance dashboard, we will show only regression in percentage. Yeah.
If there is a need expressed by the community, proposed or something that you
Yeah. Yeah, good comment. Nathan is saying that if there is a need in the community, you just request it and it's discussed. Then at the end, if it needs to be funded, the governing board will take the decision. If it's just a matter of maintenance, etc., the technical board will decide.
We just had a meeting, I think I mentioned, with a major cloud provider a couple of weeks ago about performance testing numbers, especially cloud performance testing versus functional testing. It's huge against that. Functional testing numbers are equal. Functional testing data is easier to do. Performance numbers tend to be a little more sensitive and a little more difficult to vendors to be. Customers tend to be a little more sensitive about publishing them. So it's a little bit dodgy and variant, but it's something we're doing.
Yeah. We keep discussing testing in general with everybody. And if you have volunteered to add more testing, you're welcome.
So there is a weekly DTS meeting, right? Weekly or bi-weekly? DTS, bi-weekly meeting. So people can go there and contribute as well.
And yeah, it's important to say that not sure it's clear for everybody, but because we are investing a lot now in DTS, we do it because we have a goal. The goal is that we want to avoid having regression, and we want to have this kind of comparison dashboard, etc. And to achieve this goal, it will be required in future that any new feature should be tested at least with a minimal test in DTS. Because for now, I think we have quite a good coverage in unit test, but unit test is not functional testing like in DTS. And we are writing some basic tests currently in DTS. That's the initial work. But then going on, we will require every contributor to participate in the DTS effort. So it's important to make sure that the DTS framework is what fits well for you. It's important to check that it's convenient enough to add a new test, etc., because you will have to work in it. So please be interested now and join the effort. Vipin.
I have one more question for the complete board actually. Thomas, if you remember, we were trying to bring in topology or different endpoint perspective into the PDK in our dealing with. There are pushback basically. Based on the current requirements and based on the request from the end customer, are we going to revisit so that every endpoint is not same? Certain endpoint have higher power, higher frequency. Are we going to introduce those kind of notions as part of the PLID enhancement in the roadmap?
So I'm not sure what is the question. But, I remember there was a discussion about doing a report of the system, which core are in the system, etc. And for this part, there is already a tool which is excellent in this job, which is called, sometimes it's called LS-Topo, sometimes it's called HWLock. It's an open source tool. But it seems you have another question about the notion of core type in DPDK. Do we want to change the DPDK code to take take into account that way different kind of core? Yeah.
I can have 100 calls.
I think it's a good option. I think even ARM world we have a big little Indian, as right. So it's not a vendor specific thing. I think feel free to send a patch. I think we can review, and I think it's good to attach with L core at least to know like is a bigger or lower power or core. Yeah.
Use the other choice.
Right.
For each L core, now it's equal for each path L core, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So Okay, that's very good. That's exactly the kind of discussion we have in tech board meetings. But before discussing in tech board meetings, we need to see some code, some patches, etc. So first step, always send the patch. Second step, try to convince. And if it's not enough, third step, ask to discuss in the technical board meeting. Is the process clear for everybody? For anything, send the patch, anything. By the way, even the website is managed with patch. So if you have a new product, a new thing to add in the website, you contribute to send the patch. Yeah, new question from Akil. Yeah, Akil is saying that there are some parts of DPDK which are orphan. There is no maintainer for it. So what is the question? How do we solve this issue? I tried to solve this issue yesterday by asking everybody to be maintainer. I'm not sure I should say that, but if something is not maintained and there is a patch for it, I will be the default reviewer at the end. But I cannot review everything myself, so I need help. There is no process change plan about that. Like, for instance, we could say, okay, if there is a new patch for some code and there is no maintainer, this contributor should be the maintainer. That's the kind of policy we could apply. It has not been discussed so far, but if you think there is an urgent need, you're welcome to propose. That's for anything. You can always request anything in the mailing list or to the tech board, etc. You can propose some solutions. Every ideas are welcome. You know, the project is ours. We all decide together. Right? Yeah. Does it sound okay? Cool. Any other question? Are you hungry? Okay, so it's time for a break for lunch. Thank you, everybody.